What's up, Falcon fans? On today's episode, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons versus the New York Jets. If you guys like this type of content, hit that like button. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button. It won't hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. But also, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy, by hitting that subscribe button, it will help out the empire grow. So on that note, let's dive into the 7 categories that I have for today's video. Let's get started with category number 1. Home field advantage versus home field advantage. So the Atlanta Falcons is going to travel up to MetLife stadiums. So I'm going to give my points to the New York Jets. Let's talk about category number 2. Coaches versus coaches. Arthur Smith versus Robert Saleh. Let's talk about Arthur Smith first. We all know that his outside zones are very heavily dependent on the offensive line, pre-snaps, the terminology, especially on the right side where we do a lot more damage than the left side, horizontally, vertically, all that crazy palaver. The heavy smash mouth football has never been questioned. The only problem is the passing game. Now that is due to the lack of quarterback play or knowledge or timing and accuracy with everything that has to go into full effect when the play is snapped. Now when it comes to the defense side of the ball, we all know he has done a really great job in hiring the right guy for the right coaching staff and the right players to get in free agency. Terry Fontenot, it's either him or whoever they've established a great job for the defense side of the ball. But it's all about being consistent enough. That's the Will Crescent for a lot of Falcon fans have for him, because he haven't really been winning more than 3. I don't think he ever won 3 games back to back to back. So if he does that consistently enough, I think the Falcon fan base will feel more comfortable. But so far we're not. So now let's talk about Robert Saleh. He's a very interesting head coach. His mantra, all gas, no brakes, and that showed when he was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. Now remember, yes, it might seem a little strange, but the 49ers defense weren't that very good a couple of years ago before he stepped in and really changed that program around. Yes, he had other pieces and players and other, palava to help him out, but he himself helped that 49ers establish what they are today. So we cannot deny that. So when he got the head coaching job for the New York Jets in 2021, it looking pretty promising. But remember, the Jets haven't had a winning season since 2015 when they went 10-6. And after that, they've been having losing record. So since Robert Saleh came into helm in 2021 through 2023, he has 15 wins compared to 30 losses. Now, obviously, he finished 4th in the division twice so far, because remember, he has to go against the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the New England Patriots all twice. And so, obviously, it's going to be hard to win that division. But regardless, he's done a great job in establishing, their defense, because that was really keeping them in games now. So on that note, I'm going to give my points to Arthur Smith, because he actually has balance on both sides of the field compared to Robert Saleh right now. So now let's talk about category number 3. Falcons quarterback wide receiver versus the Jets secondary. Let's start out with the Falcons first. It's no secret that the Atlanta Falcons are having problems when it comes to the passing game, obviously due to a lack of quarterback play, a lack of play calling, a lack of the wide receiver trying to get open, and also the lack of the offensive line trying to help and support whoever's at the helm not getting hit or getting mollywopped or, fear for his life. And here's some statistics that kind of backs up our claims. So when it comes to the passing attempts, the Atlanta Falcons are ranked number 28. That's 343 attempts. Now, when it comes to the passing completions, we rank number 29. That's 216. And when it comes to passing yards, we rank number 23. That's 2,428. That calculates why we're not doing so hot when it comes to the passing game, because of how inconsistently we are in each and every game. Now, let's talk about the Jets secondary. Man, they are stacked, and that's not an understatement. They have Jordan Reedhead, the safety, who has just been balling out so far. He has 9 pass deflections, 4 interceptions. Then they got, DJ Reed, the corner, pretty good. Tony Adams, the safety. And then, of course, they got Michael Carter, the second, the corner. And then, of course, they got your boy, Sauce Gardner, who's just been balling out as well. And the stats don't lie. And they got more other secondary help as well. But I want to give you a couple stats that really showcase why they're so dominant on the defense side. So they rank number 5 when it comes to not allowing first down conversions, and that's pretty good. So when it comes to interceptions, they have 12. That's ranked number 7. And when it comes to throwing touchdowns allowed, they rank number 13. That's pretty good. And so when it comes to, total yards allowed, they rank number 5 with 2,000 and 1,500 passing yards. So they are excellent when it comes to making sure that the wide receiving core and the quarterback core does not meet compatible against them. So great job on that. So on that note, I'm going to give my points to the New York Jets secondary. Now let's talk about category number 4. Falcons running back, tight end, O-line versus the Jets front 7. Let's start out with the Falcons. We usually average 120 plus rushing yards per game. Now, the good thing about the Atlanta Falcons is the run game is our bread and butter because we rank 5 when it comes to rushing total yards with 1,532. And we also rank number 5 when it comes to rushing first down with 90. And then when it comes to rushing attempts, we rank number 3 with 352. And the only problem with the offensive line is that we rank number 11 in giving up sacks with 30. But besides that, this is a team to beat when it comes to the rushing game. So now let's talk about the Jets front 7. So when it comes to getting after the quarterback, because they are a 4-3 defense, their defensive tackles and defensive end does a pretty good job. In total, they have 28 sacks. And when it comes to their front 7 and pass deflections or in coverage, when it comes to the passing game, they do a pretty good job. Their linebacker CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams both have 6 pass deflections. They both have a lot of tackle for losses. They both have sacks. So they both do a lot of good things in coverage. So when it comes to their weakness, and that is the running game, and that is something that is very significant because they rank 29 in stopping the run with 1,543 rushing yards against them. And when it comes to stopping first down runs, they rank number 24 with 80. So there's something that's their weakness, and that's it. So on that note, I'm going to give my points to the Atlanta Falcons run attack. So now let's talk about category number 5. Jets quarterback, wide receiver versus the Falcons secondary. Let's start out with the Jets. Their only superstar when it comes to their offense side of the ball, besides Breece Hall, is Garrett Wilson that has 64 receptions with 695 grand total receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 big plays over 20 plus yards. But besides that, they're not that special. So when it comes to the passing attempts, they rank number 21 with 376. And when it comes to passing yards completions, they rank number 26 with 225. And when it comes to passing yards in total, they have 2,147, and that ranks them number 31st. And last, when it comes to passing first down completions, they rank number 29 with 98. So the major problem is their quarterback situation. No, they have Zach Wilson. Of course, they had Aaron Rodgers, but he went down, pretty early on. And then they got now Tim Boyle, and it hasn't been an absolutely mess over there. And it shows why they're so low in scoring points, where they could be scoring really high, but that's besides the point. Now let's talk about the Falcons secondary. This secondary core is pretty well maintained. We haven't really allowed any other wide receivers to go over 100 yards since last week against the Saints and Chris Olave, and then DeAndre Hopkins against the Tennessee Titans like a couple of weeks ago. But besides that, we've been handling our business. And with that case, we rank number 9 when it comes to passing allowed with 2,300. We also ranked number 9 in giving up passing touchdowns with 17 in the air. We ranked number 20 in giving up first down completions with 120, but we also ranked number 7 in completions attempts with 227. So that's pretty well good stuff when it comes to our secondary core. So I'm going to give my points to the Falcons secondary because the New York Jets quarterback situation is going to be a huge hassle for them. So now let's talk about category number 6. Jets running back, tight end, and O-line versus the Falcons front 7. Let's start out with the Jets. Breece Hall is the only beacon of light for them because he's their really go-to guy to get them out of tough situation. Now, he has 569 total rushing yards. He has 320 receiving yards. He has 4 total touchdowns. And unfortunately for him, he's the bell cow, and that's pretty much it. No one else does the work like he does, and he's questionable for this game. So that puts a lot more target on everybody else's back because the offensive line ranked 3rd in giving up sacks with 47 in total. And when it comes to rushing yards, they have 1,027. That ranks them number 28. and they rank dead last in first down run plays, first down conversions with 44. And their other running backs and Delvin Cook and Michael Carter are not hitting the holes like they want them to. So now let's talk about the Falcons front seven. So the Falcons front seven, by their own, doesn't really do a good job in getting after quarterback. We have to find sneaky ways and defensive play calling with our linebackers to create a lot of pressures, because we do pressure a lot. But unfortunately, we don't get the sacks like we want to calculate it, because we have 22 so far. That's kind of in the bottom mid-tier of sacks productions. But what I do like is our linebackers and Caden Ellis, Bud Dupree, and Arnold Epicadi finding holes and finding ways to get tackle for losses, creating pressures, getting sacks, and turning the tide sometimes with the quarterback throws interceptions or incompletions. Pretty good job. But that being said, we do a pretty good job in man-to-man coverage, but the downside is we do terrible in zone coverage. We just don't have the players quite yet to establish the zone coverage pretty perfectly. But when it comes to stopping the run, we rank number 16 in stopping the run with 1,232, and we rank number 7 allowing first down runs completions with 61, so that's not that bad. So I'm gonna give my points to the Atlanta Falcons front seven because they have more established players than the Jets right now. So now let's talk about category number 7. Special teams versus special teams, and they're both pretty identical. Greg Zuerlein absolutely has almost the exact same stats as Younghoe Koo. I mean, it's really undaunting. He only missed one game, but they're pretty impractical with each other. And so on that average points, I'm gonna give the points to both sides of the team because they both do a pretty good job in kicking field goals and kickoff returns. They both average the same amount. But when it comes to punt returns, Xavier Gibson did get that 65 return touchdown in week 1, but besides that, we don't talk about that. So now let's talk about the final conclusion. My predictions are that the Atlanta Falcons will win this game 17-13. This is going to be a smash-mouth defensive football game. Probably won't be too spectacular for Falcon fans to watch. But remember, the New York Jets haven't scored over 20-plus points since week 5 against the Denver Broncos. And I don't see them scoring over 14 points because the Atlanta Falcons defense has been better since previous regimes. And also, our run game, we're going to run them all over the place if Arthur Smith is smart enough to do that. So, on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the episode, thank you so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch these Falcon content videos. I like making videos for you guys. Here's one on the screen if you guys are interested. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.